Hello, I'm in Airways Motel in Brisbane. I arrived at the airport last night at about 9:30 and there wasn't much open, nothing much for food, so they gave me 2 breakfasts and I ate one last night. There was nobody available at check-in desks or anywhere to book a flight, so I just came back and I was quite short on sleep. I think in the last 38 hours of the ride I'd slept 2 hours maybe. That was behind the service station near Grafton, so just had a good long sleep now. Now it's time to find some laundry. Hotel for tomorrow night maybe, because I think I'll struggle to get packed up and out of here today. Most likely I've got contact to meet to get some tyres and some supplies that I posted on from the UK a few weeks ago, so catch up with them, maybe do some updates for the people back home on how Australia went and how hard it was, and then yeah, book a flight probably for tomorrow via Christchurch. That means I haven't got too long in transit, but I'm not giving myself a hard time either. And that's been Australia really. I'm glad it's over. It's been long and hard. These longer, harder sections are a real test. Anything I would say over 10 days really has the opportunity to weigh you down, and you can lose a lot of time. Because you become just weary really, more likely to cut days short with a reasonable attempt to try and make the next days longer, but then something always happens, and also with the longer sections you're more likely to run into problems with things. I ran into problems with my tyres, and that was my own fault. Because they lasted so well in Europe that I thought I could get away with the whole run on one set, and I would have as well if I'd have rotated them early enough, but I forgot because the tyres just weren't giving me the problems, and then in the last few days I've had nothing but tyre problems. My tubes have been more patched than tubes. Again, I've been using some excellent Lasagne patches, but they're not glue patches, and patching snakebite punctures with more than one some penetration close together is very difficult with them. So they held up enough. I made some diversions through Byron Bay yesterday to get some tubes again, and I really should replace my tubes more often, and little mistakes like that I've lost a lot of time. Well, not a lot of time, but it mounts up. So this section's taken 22 days and 17 hours I think, by my reckoning. I'd like to think that I'd be capable of doing that in more like 20 days. My stupid plan said 18 days, and I don't think that's really, that would be pushing it. I'd have to be on some kind of spectacular form there. But I think maybe 8 hours lost in my logistical mistake with the bike shop and getting my delivery when I got into Perth, so I left Perth too late. That's time I shouldn't have lost really, because I've not even started riding then. And then the illness definitely cost me more than a day, because there were 2 days I purposely did half days at, and then I was weak all through the Nullarbor, and only when I got towards Melbourne did I realise how weak I'd been previously, because the strength came back. So I would say 2 days for the illness, and a few hours to tyres and walking through golf courses and messing about on the way in here. Up the East Coast has been stressful. It's not been very nice at all. The drivers don't give you any room on the sections where there's lots of sections on, they say, the Pacific Coast Highway, which is more like a big A road, that it splits into 2 lanes so the drivers can overtake each other, which is fine, but the shoulder then disappears, and I ended up riding on the roadway, but cars will go past you at 110, 120 kilometres an hour, leaving you about a foot gap, and there's a whole other lane free. It's crazy. And then when you look over your shoulder, which I tended to start doing, you look at every car that comes by, and when you look at them, they move over like they're being a good driver. But you turn your back on them, and they'll be flashing past. You know, their wing mirror will be going under your elbow. And there's a few times I've just, you know, pulled over at the side of the road because it's getting too stressful. And I'm glad that part of it's over. Actually, it's been some of the worst driving with regards to safety that I've seen, because in India the closing speeds are much lower. They do some daft things, but it's not with the high speed and the lack of chance that you get here. And it's just, I can't understand it. The road signing and the whole approach from the government as well here is that they tell the drivers everything. So if it's not written down, if it's not spelled out that you know, getting within a foot of a cyclist and a closing speed of 80 kilometres an hour might be dangerous, then they don't appear to understand it, or they don't care. They won't let the gas off for a second for you, and they don't appear to see that you need room. The only exception to that is the trucks, who will give you a lot of room, and riding at night when they don't know how big you are and they only see the light, because my rear lights are very good. They give you lots of room then. So it actually pays to be a little bit, they don't know that you're a bike, and then they don't know how close they can get, but I've been amazed by it and really disappointed by it as well. There we go. So that's me from Australia. The hard bits were the Millbore, the good bits were the Great Ocean Road, and getting into Brisbane was a little bit strange. I got quite despondent down there. I ended up going up the coast rather than following my route plan, which again was a mistake and I lost time to. But I saw some of the Gold Coast, it was nice. I got a pretty good cycle route into Brisbane, or in towards Brisbane, that then sort of abandoned me. And I was following the service road down the side of the motorway because I can't go on that motorway. And then I kind of lost, that became very difficult to follow as well. So I switched to the other side of a town, or the other side of the suburbs on the way in. It's a bit of a long route around the city really, to get in, which is why it's so late. So it's a bit messy really, getting up there and a bit slow, but I got through it and it wasn't so bad in the end.